Hello, Concho Valley. This is Aaron McGuire here with Concho Valley Homepage. We're getting very, very close to the May 3rd general election. And with that means a lot of voters are starting to wonder more about getting fair, accurate, and very comprehensive information. But what if I told you that one of the people trying to help out with that is not even 18 yet? This is Akash Cody. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Akash Cody. I am a spelling bee champion, a TV personality, and a public speaker. And for the past few months, I've been working on this brand new initiative based here in San Angelo called What is on My Ballot, which is all about helping to make sure that voters know everything they need to know before the elections. And this election coming up on May 3rd is our first big endeavor. I'm so excited to talk about this with you today.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's going to be a very exciting thing to go on. So to begin with, I just want to get to the basics of specifically what is on my ballot, your nonprofit initiative. Specifically, I wanted to know, you have a laundry list of achievements despite your age at this point. However, many of those have been more so in intellectual fields. I was wondering, what piqued your interest in politics?
That's a fantastic question, Aaron. And I gotta say, for me personally, I've always had a lot of interest in learning more about politics, government, and just how our country works. And this started for quite a while. I've always loved learning more about current affairs. As an example, for the longest time on my YouTube channel, which is just my name for context, Akash Cody, I had a series called News of the Week, in which I would essentially just compile the most important current affairs stories from around the world and present it to my viewers. And so it started from roughly around there when I started getting used to understanding what's happening around the world. And then from there, it started to become a shift from first what's going on around the world to how can I help improve what's going on. And the big spark that really made me think of starting What is on My Ballot was in November of last year during the 2024 presidential election. So during that time, my parents, who are immigrants from India, had already gotten their US citizenship, and that was the first presidential election in which they could vote. And when they were there, they were very surprised to see that there were so many more elections on the ballot beyond just the presidency and the House seat. And so it was from there when they realized that, oh, maybe might be a good way to try and let more people know about this. And that's when I realized that as someone in my age group who is very soon going to be able to vote in the next few years, I want to try and start a group, a nonprofit that is going to help raise awareness of the elections that are happening and make sure that everybody knows what's going on. That way we can help increase voter turnout and increase the representation of the American people in our government.
Of course, that's a great thing. And how do you plan to do that? I know you have a website for this nonprofit. Can you care to share about that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So the website is available at whatisonmyballot.org. That is whatisonmyballot.org. And it contains all sorts of information, primarily about us, about our mission, what we stand for, as well as a newsletter we've been publishing monthly since November. What we've been doing is, over the past month and a half, we've been conducting interviews with the mayoral candidates and the city council candidates for the upcoming elections on May 3rd. And so we've compiled basic information about more or less these candidates, as well as why they want to run, what they're planning on doing if they're elected, and why the people of San Angelo or the corresponding district should vote for them. So we compiled all of this information in the brochure, which you now see right here on this table. It is available online in the newsletter section of the whatisonmyballot.org website, and we are planning on distributing this in physical form in locations throughout the city. So our plan is to try and share this information with the people in an unbiased, nonpartisan way to let the people of San Angelo know exactly who will be on their ballot and make sure they get the right idea of who out of the candidates best fits their beliefs.
And you did mention that this is a group collaborative effort. Who all is behind the initiative?
Yes, so What is on My Ballot is a volunteer group. Because we're a nonprofit, we're not profiting off of this. This is something we are doing entirely to help benefit the people of San Angelo and hopefully over the next few years, more and more communities throughout Texas and the United States. But right now, our team currently consists of a few people. I'm involved as the founder of What Is on My Ballot. My sister is involved as well. She serves as the head of operations for our Texas chapter. We also have a fellow high school sophomore like me, Leonardo Pina. He currently serves as the head of our San Angelo branch. So we have just those at the moment in Texas, where of course we're looking for more people to sign up for this project. So if any of y'all are interested in helping us with this, then absolutely feel free to sign up. It's available at whatisonmyballot.org. There's a volunteer with us button, and I highly encourage you to go ahead and check it out. In addition, we also have a base in Florida as well. We have a volunteer who's currently working in Florida, specifically in the city of Boca Raton. And so she'll be helping us on that front as well. And having that base all the way over in Florida is also really beneficial for us, because it shows that not only are we currently on a path to help bring this to more places throughout the country, what we are also able to do is show that people are actually interested in helping make this work. In addition to Florida, we've gotten emails from quite a few other places throughout the country asking to be involved in this project as well. So our hope is, hopefully, over the next couple of years, to build a larger base, not only throughout Texas and throughout Florida, but hopefully throughout the rest of the country.
Very good, very good. So let's take it down to a local level for a moment. How do you hope that, on a more pragmatic level, how do you hope that people of San Angelo will be affected by this information that you're acquiring for them?
That is a fantastic question, and the simplest way I can say it is this. By publishing this brochure that we've created, containing all the information that you need to know about these candidates, you will be able to gain a much better understanding of who the candidates are on a first-hand basis. Because in addition to the interviews that have already been conducted, through Concho Valley Homepage and other sources as well, you do have these bases, but of course there's also the option to have a single place in which you can view all of this information. And What Is on My Ballot serves to help complement these existing sources of media by getting the information straight from the source, the individual candidates, directly to you, the voter. By doing this, our primary goal is to be able to help get more people to be aware of the election and also be aware of who's currently on the ballot. Because especially on a local level, if there's anyone your people are most likely to vote for, it also tends to be the people who have managed to get their name out the most and the most often. So being able to have a clear, unbiased, equal look at what each candidate says and what they're offering for the people of San Angelo, it allows you to make the decision that is best for you. We are entirely trying to be unbiased. All the information we post in our brochure is essentially an abridged version of what the candidates for mayor and city council have told us, either through specific interviews or questionnaires that we've sent them and they've replied back. So that's essentially how we've done this process. And our hope is that you, the voter, will be more well-informed and prepared to vote on May 3rd in the general election.
And touching on this little thing I've noticed, you say a lot about being unbiased and being nonpartisan. However, there's one possible concern I know some voters might have. Currently speaking, you are enrolled in SAISD, and as many voters may know, SAISD has consistently shown up on ballots over the years, and this ballot, specifically for the May 3rd general election, has a $397 million bond proposal, as well as multiple school board races. As the founder of this organization, how can you assure voters that you will be nonpartisan despite being directly influenced by the ballot's outcome?
That's a fair point. And for us specifically, what we've decided to do is, because obviously there's like this conflict of interest when it comes to SAISD's bond specifically, we've chosen to try and avoid talking about that for the time being. And the main reason for that is in part because it's difficult to be able to directly talk to people who are both favoring and opposing this new bond. Because of the way that works, finding it a little bit difficult to be able to get to people who support or oppose, because it's a very general stance. essentially we decided that the best way to go about this is mainly just to focus on the mayoral and city council elections. So for more information about the bond, like obviously there's a lot of information that SISD themselves has published, but obviously they're campaigning for the yes vote. So there's also probably other spaces available to understand the no vote as well. So that way, honestly, if there's anything I would say regarding the SISD bond, it's essentially that all of you watching should do some extra research on your own in addition to the mayoral and city council information that What's on My Ballot provides you. We're choosing to not put out information about the bond specifically because of these concerns that you mentioned, which are very valid. So it's just a matter of us being able to be as helpful as possible. And if there's anything that gets in the way of that, we don't want to do that right now. And that includes, for example, publishing more information about the bond. So for us, I think if there's anything that you should do as a voter, it's go and make sure to try and do some research beforehand, understand both sides of the issue, and then take your stance depending on which side you think is best.
Very insightful, very insightful. So shifting focus for a bit, I wanted to talk about one other little topic. You are very young, all things considered, in political spheres that are typically dominated by chatter from older individuals. What do you believe are the roles of young adults when it comes to influencing elections on the local, the state, the national levels, when they might not even be old enough to vote yet?
That's a fantastic question. And I think that perhaps the biggest influence that young voters, or to be fair, young people as a whole, regardless of whether they're eligible to vote yet or not, I think the sheer value of encouraging people to vote who are able to do so, I think that is one of the big benefits. And in addition to that, being aware that there are elections going on and making your stance heard, even if you're not able to vote yet, is also a pretty big thing because it helps incentivize the youth to start voting as well. It's been shown in various studies beforehand that in reality, if younger people are more informed about how to vote and the voting process, and for example, the things, the items, the candidates that will be on their ballots, they are usually more likely to start voting once they hit that age of 18. And in fact, if you start voting at that age, it becomes more likely that you show up again and again and again to vote in further elections. So what we're doing is by having this grassroots level directly with young voters, you also have this advantage that not only are we inspiring people of all ages to vote through this project, but we are also inspiring specifically young people who can't vote yet to become more interested in civics and politics and government. That means that we will have not only A, people who are going to go out and vote in the near future and help inspire the next generation of voters in San Angelo, but B, we are also, even more importantly, inspiring the next generation of leaders for our city. And over the course of the next few years, I believe that that's going to do some fantastic things for our city.
A little birdie told me that your website has actually been recognized by Tom Green County. Care to share?
Oh yes. So whatisonmyballot.org is actually listed on Tom Green County's website. So if you go to the elections page on Tom Green County's website, and if you look at the sidebar on the left side of the page, What is on My Ballot is actually the last link there. So that takes you to a direct link to our website in addition to the URL that's already there, which is whatisonmyballot.org. So that just goes to show that what we're doing has been seen as a pretty positive thing by Tom Green County themselves. Like the people there are absolutely fantastic, and it's a great thing to hear that they've decided to include this and essentially help us achieve this goal of achieving a more representative San Angelo for all the electorate.
Well, that's a great thing to hear. And I had one last question. I wanted to end this off on a fun note, but I wanted to ask, you're a sophomore in high school, yet you are one of the most well-traveled young adults I've ever met. You've seen around the block very, very many places around the world. So knowing this, again, you're a sophomore. If you don't got it yet, don't worry. But I am dying to know, do you have any plans for after high school?
That's a fantastic question. And I'd say for me, my plans are pretty wide open, I'd say at the moment. But right now I'm planning on pursuing political science and linguistics when I go to college. And then from there, we'll hopefully see where it goes. My ultimate goal is to be able to serve in public office at some point in time. And obviously this all stems from that interest in current affairs and politics and government that came about all those years ago. This project, What's on My Ballot, is the next step in that. And hopefully some years into the future, I want to be able to actually try and pursue political office, because the next step after figuring out how can I improve what's going on in a nonpartisan sense is to start running for office and trying to make some change that helps benefit the people. So that's where I'm hopefully trying to see myself in the future. Obviously, we'll see how it goes. It's going to be quite a while in the future, but I'm very, very excited. And being able to kickstart on that path and being able to start by helping make some benefit for the people of San Angelo, no matter what side of the political aisle you are on, I think is a great start in order to help get to that goal.
Well, I am looking forward to see where you're going. Well, that's just about all the time we have on Concho Valley Homepage here today. If you want to hear more about local election coverage, visit ConchoValleyHomepage.com's Your Local Election HQ webpage, or you can visit the What's on My Ballot website. Until then, this is Akash Vakoti and Aaron McGuire. Have a great day.
Have a great day.